Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Kamala Harris gets the United Auto Workers endorsement, which is one of the most hilarious, ironic things on the planet. The United Auto Workers, which is known for being the union for the big three in the United States, with Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. Well, those unionized workers spend hundreds of millions of dollars on politics, always one side of the political aisle. And fascinatingly enough, they are working and voting for people who want to put them out of a job. Because again, the government, with the EV mandates, it's a de facto ban on the internal combustion engine, which means that there will be less internal combustion engines manufactured and sold in the United States, which means you'll need less rudimentary labor from the UAW. And the most profitable thing that the big three had sold is ICE engines. I mean, there's a reason General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, they sell a lot of trucks, a lot of crossovers, a lot of SUVs. That's where a majority of the profit margins come from those companies. And yet, the workers are voting for someone who will get rid of the most popular product they sell and force them to make a new product, which, again, they will need less rudimentary labor to make. They're going to need a lot more software engineering capabilities. And yet, they just endorsed Kamala Harris. Like, it's ridiculously ironic. Now, granted, this is good on X Twitter. Go ahead and straight from the donkey's mouth from the UAW. They say, quote, on Wednesday, the UAW International Executive Board voted to endorse Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Now, this is not supposed to be a comedy, but I'll try not to laugh when I read this. They say, quote, her historic candidacy builds on the Biden-Harris administration's proven track record of standing with the UAW and delivering major gains for the working class. Years before the stand-up strike, Kamala Harris walked to the picket line with striking workers in 2019, has taken on corporate price gouging and profiteering, and has spoken out and voted against unfair trade deals that hurt the American workers like NAFTA and NAFTA 2.0, the USMDC. Remember, the union is scared of China because they have much better business practices and they have much better business law, and the UAW likes very high, overinflated price of labor. They don't like competition. Let's just put it that way. I'll never forget when GM went bankrupt the third time in 2009, and partially due because of the high cost of the pensions and the UAW labor. It's costing them like $78 to put a tire in a car. That's how much they were paying a worker with between their base salary as well as their medical and all their other benefits they're getting. $78 to put a tire in a car. And keep in mind, they use a machine to do it. They don't even pick it up manually. Now, I continue. They say, quote, on Wednesday, August 7th, the Harris for President campaign will come to Detroit and rally with UAW workers, Michigan voters, and thousands of working class people who are fighting for a better future. Vice President Harris will also meet directly with UAW members and leaders to hear issues that matter to Michigan workers. I wonder if she'll meet with Sean Fain, who's under federal investigation for corruption. Maybe. Remember, he's their UAW president. Oh yeah, Sean Fain actually said something, quote, our job in this election is to defeat Donald Trump and elect Kamala Harris to build her proven track record of delivering to the working class. Sean Fain, again, there is Detroit, UAW Detroit. Maybe he's drinking Flint, Michigan water. Is that he's inebriated, perhaps? He also says, quote, we stand at crossroads of this country. We can put billionaires back in office who stand against everything the union stands for. I mean, hard work in the free market? In that case, yeah, that is a true statement. Or we can elect Kamala Harris who will stand shoulder to shoulder with us to win the war on corporate greed. Most cliche BS statement of all time. Especially when it comes to groceries. People keep, and automotives as well, in terms of the profit margins. Yeah, they say this campaign is bringing together people from all walks of life, including a movement that can defeat Trump at the ballot box. For 1 million active and retired members, which of course you're paying a pretty penny for because of the retirement and pension benefits when you buy one of their vehicles. We want to make this very clear. We will elect Kamala Harris to be our next president in November. Which, now, funny enough, one of the first comments from that chain is from Joel Berry, who says, every UAW worker I've talked to supports Trump. They say his electric vehicle mandate has ruined everything. Yep, the EV mandate is, and again, this is one of the biggest issues in the election in terms of a manufacturing perspective. Trump says he's going to get rid of the BS EV mandates and make it so actually make cars that the free market wants. That'd be huge. Or as he would probably say, huge, ginormous. Because again, the reason you have unreliable, terrible cars these days is because of the EPA and the government. Especially because of diesel. Diesel used to be the most reliable thing on the planet. And longevity, lasting 314,000 miles easy. And now, with all the crap you have to bolt on thanks to the EPA, it actually gums it up and makes it unreliable. In the short term, it makes it better for the environment because the emissions in the short term, but long term, it makes them disposable junk. Hilariously, and more hypocritically enough, United States government vehicles that are diesel and also just general gas, they don't have all that stuff bolted onto them. Because again, rules for thee, but not for me. Now going to Kamala Harris, and we'll do a couple comments actually from the UAW thread. One comes from Me Guard 1968 saying, democracy. It says, in case you missed it, especially Kamala, not one US citizen voted for Harris to replace Biden. True, getting 244 likes, which more people should know. That should be driven home as a big point of contention, a big marketing point. I mean, the Republican Party was smart. They would highlight that a lot. Again, that is BS. Again, I have friends on the left and the right, in the middle, some libertarian as well. I have friends who wanted Biden, they voted for him, and yet, just like, what was it, 2016, when some people were voting for Biden, at the time Bernie for the Democrat nominee, he got the votes, and yet the party said, we're going to override what the people want. We're going to put in Hillary, which of course was highly entertaining and didn't work out for them, but it did work out for the American people. Tim Young says the executive board and only the people are the only people who support Kamala. Actual UAW workers support Trump, getting 926 likes. Really one for myself, because again, the average worker wants to make more money and they want to have a better economy, less inflation. They want to make vehicles that are profitable. They want to make vehicles that the American public wants. They want the ones that are making the company money, because again, UAW members sometimes get profit sharing. So if they have a vehicle that's selling like hotcakes and very profitable, in many cases, they get some of the money back. And I know that thanks to I family on both sides of the aisle in terms of UAW versus management, kind of a de facto thing when you have family in Michigan. But also thanks to the YouTube comments, because I got some feedback from folks who actually worked in some of those factories. So again, if you're part of that community, it'd be especially fascinated to hear what you have to say on this topic. You also have the SS saying, thank God auto workers have more sense than you wealthy idiots, getting 120 likes actually. Let's see here. Casper the Patriot says all cars will be made in China. Although, let's be honest, when we hear that word, we always hear Trump. So I would say all cars will be made in China under Kamala. So unless you're dumb, you're endorsing a person who's terminating your employment. Getting 285 likes, which true. And China's smart. It's one of those things where Biden, hilariously, he said tariffs are bad. Then he put a 100% tariff on China EVs. Well, China's manufacturing vehicles in Mexico, because then they don't have to worry about tariffs. And China just sets up a subsidiary in Mexico, where Mexico has much more attractive business laws and business environments, and they manufacture the vehicles for a fraction of the price. Let's see here. Melissa Dawn says, yeah, you're endorsing China cars being made in China. Some union you are getting 51 likes. Let's see here. Tess says, union bosses are trying to kill wages and help outsource to China, getting 85 likes. So Tim Stoner, oh, hey, here's from the good old headquarters of FERD. He says, laugh out loud, I'm in Dearborn, Michigan. Half of the UAW workers are voting for Trump. The Democrats trifecta went hard against gun rights, and workers won't like that. That's another good point, getting 288 likes. Howard Rourke says losers sold out to their workers again, getting 12 likes. Philip Lip says just another case of 1% supporting the blue, while 99% of the workers support Trump, getting 103 likes. And again, just like, I mean, there are some good workers at the UAW. There are some, people think, again, there are some good hard workers over there. They're not all lazy. They don't all just sit on their laurels and get paid copious amounts of money to do very little. I've seen, my family has seen some of that, but again, we have some family actually assembling the cars as well. Angie Trey says, so you want to put all of your workers out of work? Not wise. Without them, you wouldn't exist either. And again, it's coming straight from the UAW's individual Twitter profile, where supposedly they should have equal, about, on average, the U.S. is about 50-50 split. You would think they'd have about 50-50, Democrat versus Republican, right versus left, following UAW, that sort of, and yet they were pretty roasted. Now, going to the Kamala Harris tweet, now she says, quote, responding to the UAW, I'm honored to receive the endorsement of the United Auto Workers. From walking picket lines to taking on big banks, I spent my entire career fighting for unions and working in families. As president, I will continue to deliver for organized labor. I don't think she should just stand up like Joe Rogan yet. I mean, maybe she would. I think she would be pretty successful, because that's hilarious. I mean, under the Biden presidencies, more banks have consolidated, leading to bigger banks, in part because of the ineptitudes of the government policies. If anything, the banks, it's interestingly ironic, the banks have gotten bigger under their tenureship. And this went pretty well. Got 1.8 million views, but only 66,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Tim Young saying UAW wants to be forced to stop making gas-powered cars, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Yep. AKA says no one is voting for you, getting 485 likes. Okay, we got some contrarian statements coming out here. Got AES saying first black woman president, getting 506 likes. So, I mean, in 2019, most articles about her were saying how she's the first Indian, but nevertheless, in Jamaican. Mrs. B.O.B. says she's an Indian American, getting 27 likes. Hesp says received the endorsement of the union bosses who are working to kill jobs and outsource to China, getting 133 likes. See. Again, this should be 50-50 split. I mean, it's Kamala Harris. People on the left follow her, people on the right follow her, people in the middle follow her on the X Twitter. Insurrection Barbie says, they're capable and total idiots who'd rather endorse you and doom their entire business than have the balls to endorse a candidate they're actually going to help them not go bankrupt, getting 145 likes. Which, yeah, they've gone bankrupt quite a few times. The ineptitudes of General Motors, again, they've gone bankrupt 3 times since Billy Durant founded the company by combining Buick and Oldsmobile all those years ago. Statistically speaking, they have a track record of crashing and burning. Let's see here. Combat Boots says she isn't black. She never was black, nor she will ever be. Black Cope. It has all the articles that says Indian Prime Minister Modi meets with first Indian American VP Harris. And it says the rise of the Indian American candidate. Yeah, there are some people who care about that. I think most people with a modicum of intelligence would say you're going to vote for the candidate who best represents their ideals, someone who has the best track record, someone who has the best policies or ideas to fix problems in the U.S. It'd be nice if people. This election should also be about the big U.S. deficit. The United States now owes $35 trillion thanks to the ineptitudes of the left and the right. $35 trillion. The United States now spends more money on the interest of the loan than we do on defense, which is horrifying and I would say unpatriotic and not strategic and not wise at all. We have to solve something useless that we don't use to make up for the deficit. Maybe solve something like, I don't know, maybe Hawaii. I'm only partially kidding. Now, going back to the comments, do a couple more. Let's see here. Danny says the board does not speak for the 400,000 UAW members. And this is responding to a tweet from Charlie Kirk, who says UAW union boss and Joe Biden lackey Sean Fade admits that the vast majority of his rank and file membership will be supporting Trump. He says, quote, a great majority of our members will not be voting for President Biden. The majority of members are going to vote their paychecks. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, so, a couple supporting her. I'm trying to see if there's any more. Not too much. And again, this endorsement will get some people to vote for her. We'll do one more. Rob Coates says the auto workers are endorsing a puppet. Sad. It's someone in a suit having a little Biden puppet, and they throw it off and they put on Kamala. Which, yeah, got 33 likes for that. Which, yeah. I mean, historically speaking, the UAW endorsements, pretty big deal. They have, hundreds of thousands of members. But that being said, how many of them? I hope everyone is doing a lot of research for this upcoming election. You should know exactly what you're getting, exactly who you're voting for. I can't help but think the average member of, whether it's a union or average person, is just going to look at their paycheck every week and look at their budget, look at the increase in their grocery bill, their gas bill, and just think, can my family, can I survive 4 more years? And I think that at the end of the day, that'll be the big question that I think will sway most votes. And I'm not surprised. The UAW, the auto workers, they have been pushing Democrats for literally decades. So it's no surprise that they're endorsing Kamala Harris. It will be interesting to see what their rallies are like, how many of their members will convert to voting for Harris just because the union bosses say so, how many people who are not part of the union but they support the union directly and have family members, how many of them will vote for her because of this endorsement. A couple for sure, because again, there's a huge political thing, huge political organization, but I can't help but think probably not as many as 2020. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.